And welcome to the debut episode of The Forum right here on the GRYD Sports Podcast Network. I am your host and content creator, Patrick Brown, and what a jam-packed debut we have for you all today. The Forum, a Los Angeles Lakers podcast brought to you by yours truly, other than your host, Patrick L. Brown. A lot to dive into today. What's next for the Lakers, because it just feels like every game that we lose just slips away. But before we get into all things Lakers, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the GRYD on your podcasting app. Be sure to check us out on all social medias, on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You can also find us on YouTube as well for all exclusive content, reels, previous episodes from my other content creators. But if you're a first time listener, welcome, and I thank you for taking time out of your day. Also, what are we going to do? We are going to dive into all things surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers and other topics around the NBA as we speak. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into our topics. The Lakers lose yet another game on Friday night to the Dallas Mavericks, in which was a game to forget, considering the fact that the Lakers technically used a fourth quarter surge to come back and win, but AD's gaffe, I'll explain that here momentarily. What's the season going to look like from moving on here for after tonight? Well, we're going to see, because I believe there's a lot to be said, and it starts with one player, two initials, in AD. LeBron James update. Is it worth him coming back for the next couple weeks in order to kind of push his team into the playoffs? I give you my take on that. Also, Laker big man Pau Gasol got his jersey retired a couple weeks ago against the Memphis Grizzlies, in which his jersey is hanging next to Kobe's, as the late Kobe Bryant once predicted that when his jersey was retired, it'd be next to his. And to close the show, I will preview tonight's home matchup in a very, very pivotal, critical game with the Eastern Conference team, the Orlando Magic. But without further ado, let's get going, y'all. All right, Friday night, Lakers versus Mavericks. A game which was pivotal, yet crucial to a lot of degree, a lot of implications. Coming off of a bad loss against the Houston Rockets on the road in the middle of the week, this Mavericks team came in with, Kyrie Irving returning to the lineup. No Luka Doncic, and the Lakers found themselves behind the 8-ball. Now, before we can dive into what happened on the last play, Kyrie Irving dropped, 38 points for the Mavericks, led all Maverick scores. And, of course, AD, I don't know what to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I try to like him. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. But there's just sometimes I question his commitment to basketball and his IQ. What will it take for AD to realize that he is not playing for the New Orleans Pelicans no more? I'm at wit's end with AD, Laker Nation. I don't know how much I can stress that. But back to the game itself. AD, you got to close out on Maxi Kleber. You got to close that out. You got to go close out on the right side, not the left side. When the play was forming itself, I was like, the ball is going to go to Kyrie and to Maxi Kleber. You've got to be kidding me. You follow a three-point shooter. He makes all three free throws. But, we all know how the game ended Friday night, Laker Nation. Kyrie Irving gets the ball, and I kept saying, it's going to go to Kyrie. He's going to draw all the attention. Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to be open somewhere down the line. Oh, no. Maxi Keebler, who just made 3 free throws on the previous possession, if I'm not mistaken, wide open. AD, you let the guards and the wings take care of Kyrie. Because even if they do trap him, he's going to throw up a circus shot, and it's a 50-50 chance if he makes it or if he misses it, but as long as you don't foul. He sees Maxi Keebler standing at the top of the key, actually on the left side, I should say, and it was a free look. It was a free look, and it was a clean look. I was like, that's ball game right there. It's ball game. And it went through. Lakers lose the game. Anthony Davis takes the blame and accountability for what happened in, those final seconds and on the fouling Keebler to make the 3 free throws. And then to let him somehow have enough space, to hit the game-winning shot for the Mavericks, which was a stunner. Now, as I sit and I watch AD play on a nightly basis to some degree, I question his motor. Now, if you're a first-time listener of this podcast, or if you listen to my other podcast, Chaotic Sports, which is available on the grid as well, you'll find out that I am a big Giannis fan. I love watching Giannis, and that's no disrespect to AD by any stretch of imagination. But I will say this, though. If I can take Giannis's motor and swap it with AD's, I'd have me a top 7 player in the league right now, without question. AD's IQ is bothersome. It's like he overthinks everything. One night he can give you 35 and 15. The next night, 8 points, 7 rebounds. I don't know which AD I'm going to get on a nightly basis. Excuse me. AD is either glass all the way full or quarter ways empty. And that's been the issue with AD the past 3 years since the championship in 2020. When we got him, I was all giddy. Finally, he gets out of New Orleans, he gets to come to LA, compete for championships. That's what he wanted. I'm starting to wonder if AD has no desire to be a Laker. I keep waiting for him to flip this switch, but sometimes it's there, sometimes it isn't. I can look at a guy like D'Angelo Russell, and Malik Beasley, and Austin Reeves, and Wenyen Gabriel, and these guys out here busting their tails from one end to the next. But I don't see that from AD. AD gets out-muscled by bigs who are much bigger than he is. Again, this is very, very concerning because the season is slipping away with each loss. I don't know how much more I'll be able to, to watch of this season, but it just feels like the Lakers are just falling by the wayside with each and every loss. Coach Ham looks lost at times because he doesn't know how to play his rotations. It's not complicated, but it is also, you can't depend on AD to carry this team like we initially thought whenever we acquired him back in the summer 2019. For what it's worth, who's going to, step up to the plate, I should say, and take charge? I know what I'm getting out of D'Lo, Beasley, and I know Mo Bamba's still out. But for us to think that LeBron James is going to come back and save the season, we've got another thing coming. For everything that this team has been through to start the season, a Russell Westbrook problem. We got rid of Russ. Made the trade to go out and, play for right now. Rui Hachimura has been solid. I know what I'm getting out of him. But again, Laker Nation, it starts with Anthony Davis. And I will go ahead and put this out here now. I wish Coach Ham would quit referring to him as Wilt Davis. I find that a little disrespectful to the great Laker great Wilt Chamberlain, who was a dominant force on both ends of the court. Nobody had to tell him to go out and dominate every night, Wilt. It's like you have to motivate AD just to go out and play. Why am I paying you $40-something million and you're not giving me a collective effort on both sides of the floor. I don't get it, AD. I really don't. And as a Laker fan, I'm at wit's end with Mr. Davis. I really am. Because I would be, if in a perfect world, I would trade him in the first round pick to Portland for Dame Lillard in a heartbeat. I may have to give up D'Lo, but if that's the sweetening deal, I would do it. Because if we don't make the postseason, this is something that Rob Pelinka really has to sit and look at. Okay, we've had AD for 3 years, and we've got very minimum out of him when LeBron is out. We don't know which AD is going to show up. Is he all the way in? Is he all the way out? But something is not right with AD. If I'm Rob Pelinka, I would say, look, we've got 2 years. Excuse me. We've got 2 years left on this deal. We're trying to win a championship. I need you to be all the way in or all the way out, or what do you want to do? Because we can't depend on you. Because when LeBron goes out, all eyes are on you, AD. You're the second best player on the team. You have to step up and be that guy every night. Any given night, you have to go out and give us, 25, 30 points and 12, 15 rebounds. If it's an efficient 20-something points, with as long as you're anchoring the defense, I'm good with that. But this inconsistent, lackluster play of hot one night, lukewarm the next, and then brick cold on a night against a team you should win or a game you should play, but that was an organizational decision to sit AD for the Rockets game, and which was a very winnable game. But we're playing for the playoffs, y'all, and I need all hands on deck. And with LeBron supposed to be reevaluated this upcoming week, it's gonna be one of those decisions. Okay, how's the progress and injury going? Are you capable of playing? What's your percentage right now on your health? But for me, AD, this is now or never for him, because this summer, I would like to pull the plug on AD and go get Dame Lillard if that's what it takes, because you have to put a guy to surround with LeBron, a second co-star, to help him. AD was supposed to be that guy, but he hasn't really quite panned out. But we're gonna see, because I'm done with AD. I try to like him, but I can't until he can prove to me that he can be dominant any given night. I'm out on AD. I don't even like. It's not being disrespectful, but you just have to call it like you see it. Basketball is not a complicated sport. It's rather simple if you have a really good IQ. I sometimes wonder about AD's IQ. If he's there, or if he isn't, or is the stage too big for him, to carry this team. Because LeBron's not going to play much longer. LeBron's 38 years old in season 20. He's done past Kareem. That was something he had his mind set on to do. He done it. But AD, I need you to really put on your big boy shoes and go out here and bang, because the season will teeter on whether you can carry us or not. And after what I've seen over the last couple weeks, it's been up and down like a roller coaster and lackluster at best. As far as the rest of the guys, D'Lo, keep doing your thing. Malik Beasley, hopefully we get Mo Bamba back. Dennis the Menace Schroeder, I have nothing but respect for him, because he's made the most of it on his second stint with the Lakers. Hachimura, he's been solid too. I know what I'm getting out of him, and just go ahead and put this out there. I think our closer is Austin Reeves, in all honesty. I believe Austin Reeves is that dude that can go and get you a bucket, who's not afraid of the biggest stages. But as far as the superstar, AD, who's a top 75 player, sometimes he looks like he's a top 100 player. And that's just being honest, because I look at him and I look at Giannis. I'll take Giannis over AD any day. Give me Joel Embiid over Anthony Davis. Heck, even give me Jokic over AD. I mean, those are his contemporaries right now who are actually playing a lot better than he is by far, and they're in the MVP discussion. AD's not even in a discussion for anything. It just seems like to me he's just not there, Laker Nation. I don't know what to say other than what are you doing, AD? What are you doing? Why? Why AD? Why? These mental relapses and mistakes cost this team Friday night a very winnable game in which we should have been able to gain some more traction. I will discuss our playoff future and fate here in the next couple segments. Let us move on to Pau Gasol's retirement ceremony, which took place against the Memphis Grizzlies a couple weeks ago. Pau Gasol was a really good center for what we needed, for that title stretch in 2008, acquiring him from, the Memphis Grizzlies. To this very day, I still don't know how the Lakers pulled that trade off, in all honesty. Pau Gasol was what Kobe needed to get those 2 championships. He said it himself. Without Pau, I don't get those 2 championships. The Lakers don't have those 2 championships. Because Kobe was at a crossroads in his career, during that time from, 2006 through 2008. Shaq had just been traded, and the pressure was on him. Can he win without Shaq? Well, the late, great Dr. Jerry Buss went out and fleeced a trade from the Memphis Grizzlies to get Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol was a 20-point, 10-rebound guy, and he was a phenomenal passer. That was probably one of the most underrated attributes of his game, was his passing abilities. We win 2 championships in 2009 and 2010 back-to-back, and Kobe elevated Pau's game. When he came to LA, the expectation was championships. This wasn't Memphis anymore. You can be 20 and you'll be a 22-10 guy, but I'm gonna need you to be, help anchor this defense and be the big man in the pick and roll. That way, whenever I want to play down low with you, I can pass it down low, and I know you're gonna give me a shot. Okay, you're gonna get your shots. It was a very emotional night for Pau because Kobe was looking forward to that night. If he were still here with us, he was looking forward to seeing Pau have his jersey put up in the rafters next to his, because that's something they talked about. They were brothers for life, because if Pau had stayed in Memphis, he would have been a Hall of Famer and been a good player, but it would have been like, what could have been if he had been on a championship caliber team. But he came to the Lakers and he helped us win back-to-back championships. I just know his first title run in LA against the Celtics in 2008, he got hammered bad for his play. Came back the following season, and he showed up when it mattered, offensively, defensively. Pau was a very, very good big to counter, to help, Andrew Bynum as well, who was the starting center during that time. In the 2009 season, I believe, 2009-2010. But Pau, it was just nice to see him back at Staples, or the Crypt, I should say. It was very emotional. I think Vanessa was there, Jeannie Buss, former teammate Jimmy Butler, who he played with in Chicago briefly. He showed up with the Pau Gasol Lakers jersey, and the chants of Kobe, throughout the Crypt gave everybody chills, because you can definitely tell that Kobe his presence was felt from upstairs above the heavens. He had the best seat in the house, and I'm sure he was on his feet, smiling and cheering like, "Yep, I got to see it. I may not be there in person, but I'm there in spirit." And you can just tell that the ripple effect that Kobe had on Pau's career, it made him better, elevated him, and they stuck together through thick and thin. And one thing I'll appreciate about Pau Gasol is that when you have a big man who can run the floor and can pass and was very efficient in the pick and roll offense, you keep him around for as long as you can. And Pau fit the bill for what the Lakers needed in those three finals appearances. Because that's one thing that Kobe didn't have, after Shaq left. He was a prolific scorer, but he was, bowing out in the first round, and against Phoenix, which we all know was an entertaining series, but it was heartbreaking at the same time. But I was happy to see Pau, have his jersey next to Kobe's, and his next step be the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Pau. Thank you for everything that you've done for the Lakers and the great ambassador that you've been for the game of basketball. Moving on to LeBron James's injury update. He's supposed to be evaluated this week and to see how far along the ankle is, the foot, to see, the progress. The boot is off, from what my understanding and what I've read. The boot came off a few days ago. He participated in a shoot around prior to the Pelicans game of this past week, in which the Lakers won. And one can only hope, is how far along is he? According to Coach Ham, the LeBron's progress is going as scheduled. But now, with 2 weeks to go in the regular season, he's going to get ramped up. And for the sake of LeBron James, Laker Nation, I feel it would be best for him just to sit it out the next 2 weeks. What will be the point of bringing him back if, worst case scenario, we fall out of the play-in tournament? Then you could just shut AD down for the year, and you might as well go and shut LeBron down. I wouldn't do it because we all know that LeBron invests a lot in his body. He's done all he could, but there's one aspect of sports that you can defeat, and that's father time. LeBron James has been the most durable athlete in any sport other than football, with Tom Brady, stiff arming father time and playing the quarterback position. But LeBron, at this state, if he does come back, it's going to at least be a week, ramping him up 1-on-1, 3-on-3, 5-on-5 before he gets back on the court. It's not worth it if we somehow, worst case scenario, do fall out of the play-in tournament and get eliminated from the postseason. I wouldn't do it. Only because, as much as you want to be out there, LeBron, it's not worth it. Just look at it like this. Take the rest of the regular season off. Have the surgery or the procedures you need to get the foot cleaned up and the ankle right, and get ready to go for 2024. This season feels like it's not meant to be. I know we started the season rough with the whole Russell Westbrook cloud hanging over us, and this team not knowing who they are and not having an identity hurt the team to start the season. We got out from underneath of Russell Westbrook. He's a Clipper. Have fun in the basement. Have fun, with the Clippers and whatnot. Psych. I'm exaggerating, Russ. I'm exaggerating that one, but point is, LeBron James needs to just shut him down, because it's not worth it. And the reason why I say that, and I'm not being harsh, but it's just the reality of what we're dealing with right now. If we're 2 weeks to go, and you basically got to go on a streak, and you got to work your way back into the, at least get to the 60, which is impossible at this point. This was the golden opportunity to make cover ground, but the losses to the Knicks, the Rockets, and the Mavericks, that was missed opportunities, because we could have we were gaining momentum, and then boom, another dud here and another dud there. It starts with AD, but if I'm LeBron James, I'm looking at this situation, I'm saying, I can't come back. I say that if I come back and I re-aggravate that ankle in the foot, it's a wrap. It's going to defeat the purpose. As much as he wants to be out there with his guys, Father time is catching up with LeBron James. The injuries at age 38 has caught up with him. His body can't recover as fast as it once did if he were in his say his 20s and his 30s. The man's 38 years old and just passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for all-time scorer in the NBA. So, with that being said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with LeBron James in this upcoming week, to see if he's going to play these next, at least I say by, on this next stretch of games. But there's not much time left, and what could have went our way has went the opposite. AD's a big focal of the blame, and then the Coach Ham just looks out-coached every night whenever it matters most. And when you get to the postseason, you can't be trying to figure out your rotations. You have to know who your team is and what works for you going into the postseason. But we're going to see, because I'm almost certain, if you had to ask me on a scale of 1 to 10, LeBron James chances LeBron James coming back, I'm gonna say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna say a 3 that he doesn't come back. I don't think he will, but anything is possible. But these next 2 weeks there's not enough time left in the season, and we don't have much time to cover to make up for what we've already lost. Finally, last topic of our show today is a preview between the Lakers and the Magic. The Lakers are right now, we are looking at a lot of ground to cover over the next 2 weeks, but like I said in the previous segment, it's a far gone conclusion. We are looking at the Lakers right now. We are 34 and 37, and we're in the 11th seed in the Western Conference, and which means we're only maybe a game back or half a game back from Utah, but we don't have enough time to cover. The Orlando Magic are coming in tonight's game 29 and 42 on the season, and what could be it feels like a playoff elimination game for the Lakers. Reason why? Because the Warriors dropped a game last night against the Memphis Grizzlies on the road, which is, I find, very discouraging for the Warriors that they're this bad on the road. I mean, they're a Pacific Division rival, but man, it's a total difference between night and day watching the Warriors at home and the Warriors on the road. But this Lakers team, ladies and gentlemen, there's no more time to play around. We've got not very much time left, but 2 weeks, and it starts tonight against the Magic, and then we got a home state against the Suns on Wednesday night, a primetime game against the Suns on ESPN. The Thunder, which is already, technically in the play-in tournament, a home with the Bulls, and then the Timberwolves on the road. These next games is very, they're not winnable, with the exception of maybe tonight against Orlando and possibly Oklahoma City on next Friday night on the March 24th. But the Magic are coming in, and they are 13th in the Eastern Conference, and the Lakers were sitting at 11th. And it's going to be very interesting, because the Orlando Magic have nothing to lose. They possibly have the Rookie of the Year, Paolo Banchero, for the Orlando Magic, has been fairly good. Not great, fairly good, but we're not referring to the Orlando Magic as a title contender in the Eastern Conference. The Lakers, we've got to get it together, Laker Nation. We really do. We really, really do. I just hope, for the sake of argument, we can put a string of wins together over the next 6 games or so, and try to get ourselves back in this play-in tournament, at least get into the postseason. I would hate it for LeBron James to miss the playoffs for the second straight season. It wouldn't feel right. But push comes to shove, it'd be his fault that the Lakers missed the playoffs. But the co-superstar and AD is supposed to be the man that's supposed to be the bridge to LeBron James when LeBron's done. I said in the previous segments that I'd be willing to pull the plug on the AD project after this season. You got 2 years remaining, about $90 million, and you still got that one first-round pick left. In a perfect world, trade for Damian Lillard out of Portland. Get him out of Portland. You know, he's a great player, and I understand the loyal to the soil and wanting to win with Portland. But if Portland would entertain that offer, you know, AD plus D'Angelo Russell to sweeten the deal in a first-round pick, yeah, they would probably take it. But free agency all season, we're months away from, July, when the free agency officially starts. But tonight's game is going to feel like a playoff game. From every game from here on out is playoffs for the Los Angeles Lakers. They have to play like every game matters now. There's no more time to lose. You have to compete every night because no team's going to feel sorry for you without your best player in LeBron James. Any team that beats the Lakers without LeBron, that's a moral victory for them. And what I mean is, it's kind of like you have that sibling in your family that you rival in, basketball, football, whatever the case may be. And whenever you get a chance to beat them, that's a moral victory. That's how teams are looking at the Lakers right now, as a punching bag. Because AD's not capable of being a dominant player on both ends of the ball on any given night. The roster is decent, but the rotations are just terrible. And then you've got guys out there that are just sometimes, you look at the opposition, it's like they're playing a lot harder than we are. And this game is still within reach. What's the matter here, folks? Well, what are we doing here? So tonight, I hope the Lakers win. I really do. At least try to gain some traction. We've got to. No ifs, ands, or buts. No excuses. One player, two initials, AD number 3. You have to ball out from here on out, AD. You have to. I hope I don't have to come back on my show within the next few days and hammer AD again. But if I have to, so be it. That's all the time we have for today's debut of Form, a Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the GRYD Network on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, wherever you may listen to your podcasts. Be sure to follow us on social media at the GRYD Network on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also follow myself on Instagram at theform_17. You should see the podcast logo in the profile picture. That is all the time we have for today. I hope everybody stays safe. Please make sure to take care of your mental, physical, and emotional health. Until next time, I look forward to seeing y'all back here at the Forum. Stay safe. Most importantly, take care of yourself. This is Patrick Brown signing off. Until next time, peace out.